Hello everyone, it's Moonkin FTW here, back with episode 9 of the RCT3 coaster challenge. Challenge where I make coasters for each and every single coaster type there is in RCT3. Today, very special treat, the drifting coaster, which resembles cars drifting. So that's what I'm going to try and replicate here. And I had a very cool idea, which is going to be very extensive, but I really wanted to do it. So the theming for this ride is going to be a city. Because, you know, a drifting coaster, I want to replicate the feeling of you drifting through a city. Kind of like, I don't know, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift or something like that. So that's what I'm trying to replicate with this type of ride. So there's a lot of theming involved. And here I'm just making the roads, which is the black pavement. And then the sidewalks, which is going to be gray. And in between that, it's going to make some offices and some high-rise apartment buildings and all that to really replicate a city. So it's going to be a lot of time involved in this one, but I had this really cool idea. I thought about it, had the inspiration, then I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. So let's go ahead and start building some structures. You can use a very standard scenery set from Rollercoaster 3 to make all these flats, so it's not really that difficult. It's just that if you want to make a lot of offices, you're going to have to use a lot of these pieces. And I'm going to adjust some of these pieces a little bit, and also the track. Now, and you can see that overbanked turn right there. Of course, a drift car, cannot go into the air, but it's still a roller coaster, so I didn't want it to be stuck to the ground the entire time. I did want there to be some sort of like height. So that's just a nice overbanked turn that I put in there. So I'm just going to check out the pacing to see if everything's okay. And then from there on out, I can start building the scenery. So I'm just going to make a few adjustments here. So this section here is new, kind of added that. And I'm just going to, once again, make the street here. And then add the pavement and everything. And then eventually we'll start adding the office buildings and everything. So like I said, this is a very time-consuming project. I probably won't do this with every single coaster type that I make during this coaster challenge, but this type of coaster, drifting coaster, is such a specific type of roller coaster. I really wanted this to be theme heavy, something like the extended coaster. Very simple to make a nice looking design without having to focus on theming. And for instance, like a ghost mine train or something like that with very basic track pieces, you're going to rely heavily on theming to make it nice, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I am using the pre-save option, however, and that really helps in speeding things up because I'm able to quickly make these high-rise buildings using these pieces from the office set. So I'm going to try and use pretty much all of them because I want to not just copy-paste one type of building over and over again. I do want there to be a varied amount of structures around this area. Just like, if you go to Chicago or New York City or something like that, you'll see different types of, office buildings and high-rise apartment buildings and all that. So we're just going to go through it, and I'm going to stick to some basic colors, black, gray, white. I will make one later that is like kind of more like brick colored, if you will. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but definitely wanted to make that. And this is going to take us a lot of time. This might be the most time-consuming project so far in this coaster challenge. I think the next one is probably either the Alpine coaster, which again you'll like build an entire theme around it. And again, that's because the track itself is not that interesting, and it really fits a certain theme. So an Alpine coaster, of course, fits a very like a mountain, and of course a lot of trees and everything, and maybe some snow. Lots of hills, of course, and same with the drifting coaster. So this coaster should revolve around some theming. If I imagine if they would ever build this in real life, because I don't think they did. It's kind of like a prototype, and I imagine if they would ever build this in real life, that they would also have some sort of like car or racing theme around it. So we're just going to go ahead and keep copy pasting this stuff over and over again. And once I have a few buildings selected, I will start copy pasting this like whole building structures, if you will, all around this this area where I have this drifting coaster, which I'm doing right now. And that definitely helps in speeding things up. Again, I want things to look nice, but it doesn't have to be super, super detailed and perfect. So, I don't want each project to take a ridiculous amount of time, even though this one, it does owe me a decent amount of, I wouldn't say hours, but maybe 2-3 hours. I'm not sure, actually. I need to check the full recording of OBS. So we're just going to keep going until I cover the entire roller coaster. So I don't want there to be any blind spots. So basically all the track, basically at any given moment when you're riding the track, I want there to be no point where you can see that it just ends and there's nothing behind the roller coaster, so to say, or the theming. So here I'm going to make a park, which is going to be kind of, inspired by Central Park in New York, where you have like a big city, but you'll have like a nice park area for people to be. And I'm going to, of course, surround that with office buildings as well. So when you're going through that overbank turn, it's going to be the same principle where you're not going to see any dead spots or just see the open grass behind all these buildings. Because, of course, like I said, that will be a bit stupid. Now, you can see how this city is already kind of taking shape. It's a lot of work. But like I said, it's really fun. It's a really interesting design. I've never done anything like this. And I think the POV is going to be absolutely amazing when this is done. So, as with any city, I'm going to add traffic, of course. And the reason I'm doing that as well is because in Tokyo Drift, there's one scene where they're basically drifting through the city and they're just weaving through traffic. And I want to kind of replicate the same thing here, where there's a whole bunch of cars and you're constantly doing these near misses or near hits, whatever you want to call them. And so I replicate that by putting a whole bunch of cars on the pavement, the black pavement, and then while you're riding it, you'll constantly dodge traffic as you're drifting through the town. So I think that's a very cool concept. And here you can see me putting buildings behind other buildings, so to make sure that there's no dead spots, so to say. So we're getting closer and closer to finishing this up. I'm just going to add a few details here and there, and then we're getting closer and closer to completing an entire city just for one roller coaster, which is kind of crazy. But it doesn't owe me a whole lot of time because I use the copy paste feature a lot, like the pre-save feature, and that allows you to drastically save a lot of time. You can like you can see, I just make one block with like 10 blocks of that office wall, and I save it, and I can just copy paste it and very quickly make a high-rise office building. So here I'm going to experiment with that kind of like pink reddish color that you see in the old school brick apartments. Doesn't look great, but it's okay. So it's like, okay, screw it, it's a little bit different. Else things will get a little bit too boring. So we're just going to use that as well. And this is, like I said, it's a lot of work, this one, but happy to make it. Some of these buildings are actually so high that I was not able to really properly place any ceiling on it. But I thought, that's okay because this is all, how do you say, like theming. It's not actual office buildings. So, if they don't have the roof, it's okay. You're not going to see it while riding the roller coaster. So it's like, okay, we don't need that. So we are almost done. We just need something to cover up this beginning area. And I'm going to incorporate the queue and the exit also into an office building because, again, even when you're leaving the station or arriving at the station after you're done riding this roller coaster, I still want you to be surrounded by office buildings. So there's, like I said, no dead spots. It's all fully surrounded by buildings. So it's we're getting pretty close to being done. As you can see, this roller coaster covers an absolutely ginormous area. It's all for the experience of authentic experience of drifting through a town on a roller coaster, but it's supposed to replicate a car. So there we go. I think I'm pretty much almost done with this. Just a few minor touches here and there, and I think that's it. And it's time to check out the POV. So without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's something very different than what I normally make, and I wanted to enhance the experience even with some car sound effects, with drifting sound effects. So I hope you guys like that, and I'll be back soon with episode 10. But until then, thank you very much for watching this video, and have yourself a wonderful day.